Hey guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
We're two lifelong friends and musicians, but when we're not playing gigs, we like to talk games.
And today on the Gaming Gig Podcast, Capcom is spilling the tea on physical games. We're talking about a strike in the gaming industry and news on GTA 6.
Well, if you're new around here, welcome to the Gaming Gig Podcast. We are a viewer-driven podcast. We read and react to your comments, and that we kind of use it as jumping off points for our conversation. Today, we're starting things off with some news about Capcom, but maybe broader, bigger picture. We're talking about physical games, and will they be around for a while?
Yeah, so CapGod had their shareholders meeting, like they have every year. And they were asked, what are you going to do about, physical games in the future? Because obviously the trend is more towards digital. And we have some stats on that. So during the 2023 fiscal year, apparently 90.1% of Capcom sales were digital. And they expect to hit 93% this year.
That number is wild to me. I knew that digital outweighed physical. I know that overall, I'm sure it's crossover, but 90% is not a number that I would have expected. I would have expected it to be somewhere more like 60, maybe even 70%. 90 to me is kind of mind-blowing.
I was thinking it would sit right at a 69.
Nice. But 90% seems wild to me. But the fact that Capcom is saying, hey, we're not going to stop making physical games is good news to me because I really like to collect physical games.
Right.
I understand. We've talked many times in this podcast about our opinions on do we like physical, do we like digital? And pretty much I think both of us have come to the conclusion that digital is convenient, and I think we are both leaning more into digital now than we ever have.
Yeah.
But still, I like to have physical games, especially for the games that I'm really excited about or games that I really love. I like to have copies of them physically. Even if I own them digitally, I will sometimes buy a physical version just to have so that I know I have it forever.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, getting more and more into PC gaming has pushed me more digital than ever, like you said, because, I'm always finding some sort of crazy sale on a Steam game and I'm always adding to my library. It just happens. But as far as console gaming, if I can get it physically, I still do. Especially on the Switch, because cartridges are king.
I think so. I think that cartridges really are, because oftentimes the cartridge, or it plays the game directly from the cartridge. You don't have to load it onto the system. It's not like a disc where you have to take it all and put it all over. And then often when you do that, you have to call to the internet to connect to a server to even do some confirmations.
Right.
So many times cartridges are the only way to have that game and really be able to play it offline from a brand new, say you want to load it up for the first time 20 years from now. Cartridges may be the only way to do that.
Right.
Some discs you can, but many you can't.
Yeah. That's something that I feel like a lot of people that are full digital, I don't know if they're taking that seriously enough. Or if they care. Because there was a time in my life when I probably would have said I didn't care. There was probably a time when you would ask me hey man, in 20 years, are you going to wish you could play this Super Nintendo game? And I would have probably said no. When I was younger, especially.
Yeah, totally. I could have seen
I'd have been like, nah, man, there'll be something new. That's what I'll be playing.
But now we find out that these older games are very valuable to us. And there are all kinds of options. I mean, these games have been preserved in ways. In ways they've been preserved. But if you want to preserve them the official way, that's where it's we really need to think about physical games as still being a part of what we continue to use and the way we put our money towards these types of things. I like having physical.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, our way of preserving some of these games is maybe not the way that Nintendo or another company would like. So
yeah.
I do like, and I've been leaning more and more towards just embracing NSO. Because it is an official way and it makes me feel good.
Yes, I absolutely 100% love NSO for that reason, because it is official. Recently, I wanted to play Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Right? A PlayStation 1 game. And to play that on PlayStation 1, I don't know if you've tried to purchase a PlayStation 1 Silent Hill disc.
Never.
But they are expensive. You're going to spend well over $100 just to get to play the game with the original disc.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Now, there may be a way to buy it digitally on the PS3. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it seemed like it was only on PS1, but I do think there may be a like a digital version on PS3. I found out after the fact. But
I can get you a digital version.
oh, I'm playing it on Steam Deck. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
So, there are digital versions out there.
Yeah.
But, I would much rather if this game had been available on a service, say like NSO, or even just digitally to buy on like something like the Switch or the Series X or the PlayStation 5, I would have been there.
The 3DS.
Anything. I looked on all the storefronts. It's not on Steam. It's not anywhere. So you can't really play this game unless you have a PlayStation 1, or you can,
or the internet.
Or you can, just Google search it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a real thing where I'm like, man,
yeah.
We need to start taking this stuff a little more seriously.
I periodically still look for a physical copy of Chrono Trigger. I'll just periodically check the prices of what's up, because I would really, really, really like to own that.
Have you looked at the DS?
I don't want the DS one.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't say I don't want it. I would like it. That I would like it, but I want the SNES one.
Man, I can't believe, just as a side note, when I was a kid, the SNES that we had access to, which was not ours, but when we borrowed often and we get all their games, they had Chrono Trigger there, and I never played it.
Because you looked at it and you were like, that's some Dragon Ball Z ripoff shit.
I thought it seriously was a Dragon Ball ripoff. I looked at it and I was like, it's such a ripoff of Dragon Ball. I had no idea it was the same artist.
Oh my gosh, how cringy. That is such a DBZ ripoff.
That's exactly what I thought, though.
Yeah.
I really did.
I thought the same thing when I was a kid. I don't know that I ever came across the game in the wild. Maybe I did. I'm sure I saw it. But I remember anytime I would see, art of the characters, I would always think, that looks like a stupid Dragon Ball thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how wrong I was, and now it's like $200 loose.
Right.
Now
I would. It's not like I could own that game. It wasn't one I owned. I never owned it, but I had it. I could have played it.
Yeah.
Such a shame. But anyways, going back to our physical video games, we put out a poll because we wanted to know, like, do you guys think that physical games are going to stick around? So
before we move on to this, I want to know if you believe Capcom.
Do I believe that they are committed to producing physical games?
Because those numbers, that whole 90.1, 93%, those statistics are staggering. And Capcom is a company, and I have my doubts that they will continue to produce a bunch of physical media when the numbers clearly show they could save the money on the production and just put it out digitally.
So here's my thought. I think you are right, and I think that they are not lying.
Okay.
What I suspect is that they are going to continue to produce physical discs, but I'm not so sure that physical discs are going to be available to buy in stores in the future. And that kind of brings us into our poll, but I kind of think that we may get to a point where you may be able to buy these things but they have to be either direct from like Capcom or maybe on Amazon, like maybe some online retailers who you can kind of get either directly from Capcom essentially.
I don't have
small batch.
I don't have a problem with buying a game directly from Capcom, like to get the physical version. That wouldn't bother me. Like if you could have got a physical version of Alan Wake 2, if you bought it directly from Remedy, you would have probably done it.
Definitely. I mean, now we do have a physical version of Alan Wake 2 coming out. But
this after the fact releasing the physical is a bunch of crap.
It makes me so mad.
Yeah, I do not like it at all.
Me either. It's so frustrating because I would have been there day one on physical, even if it cost a little more.
Right.
But now that the fact that I had to buy the game for full price digitally, and then now they want me to buy it for full price again physically, maybe if I really love the game, I might be willing to do that. But it kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth when it's like they decide after the fact, like, oh, the game was successful. We're going to put out physical copies, so all y'all who love it spend double on the game. That's
icky.
It's real icky. If they had just said, like, hey, we have physical copies, but it costs $10 more if you buy it physically.
I got no problem with that. I would have bought it. I wouldn't have bought that one, but I would do that.
Exactly.
There are games I would do that with.
Certainly. Anyways, we put out a poll asking, will physical games still be sold in stores from 10 years from now?
Yes, and at 67%, y'all said, yeah, I think so. And at 33%, you said, nah, man, I don't think so.
So 10 years from now. we will be likely even past. Well, we'll be at the tail end of the next generation of consoles. The PlayStation 6, the Xbox won't make a console because they'll be dead by then. And then, we'll even be maybe even on the Switch 3, if that's a thing. The
successor to the successor of the Nintendo Switch, you mean?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that might be out. And also, like, this poll is null and void because, these copies of GTA 5 that are circulating for all these different consoles, they're not going anywhere.
Right. Well,
You'd be able to find them in the dusty bin at the Walmart.
I think that is one of the things that comes up. I don't think we pulled a comment, but I think that there were some...
We did pull multiple comments.
I didn't think we pulled a comment that was mentioning this, but there were some people who saying, like, maybe for older games, but newer games are going to stop having physical releases. And I kind of think that may be true.
And I'll tell you that the reason I didn't pull those comments is because I thought about, like, okay, what'll be older in 10 years? Like, and then I kind of thought, like, what's available from 10 years ago now? And I'm like, I don't know that I see a ton of that stuff. So I kind of glossed over them.
Not a ton of it, but there's stuff even older, though. I mean, you can still buy, you brought up GTA 5. You can still buy GTA 5. Let's think, what is it? It's 2014 would have been 10 years ago. And
you can buy Skyrim in about 1 million places.
Right. So, like, the big games are still there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're getting... The Nintendo Switch came out in 2017, and there are still plenty of launch titles from the Nintendo Switch available.
Absolutely.
Obviously, it's not 10 years, but we're talking 7, 8 years. So that's still... I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes.
I am too.
So what do you think? Do you think that 10 years from now we're going to have physical...
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if Goodwill is still around. Because the poll does not specify what kind of store.
No.
And you'll always be able to go to a thrift store and find a game. Do I think they'll be in Walmart, Target, GameStop? Will GameStop be around? I probably think yes, but in a much, much, much reduced fashion. I think you'll still be able to find some stuff. I don't think you'll be able to get even close to the full selection that you get now. And I think it will be dark days. I think we'll be sad. And I'm looking forward to going through that with you guys.
I'm not, but let's read some comments here. We have a comment from AVUM47 who says, if they're not selling games physically anymore in 10 years, I'm going to stop buying new games. Simple as that. Nothing better than actually owning what you purchase forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole crux of the argument, that if you don't buy it physically, do you really own it forever? But now we've got all these games that you have to hit the damn internet to play anyway. So, like, it doesn't even matter at this point, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. I know we're beating a dead horse, but this horse deserves to be beaten.
Yeah. And I also don't know that. I don't know that I could really say that, if they stop making physical games, I'm just going to stop buying new games. Well, it's like... I
wondered if that's what you would do.
I wouldn't do that because I can't just not play the video games. I love games.
I mean, you could stop buying video games right now and you'd still never run out of games to play.
True. If I stop buying games, period?
No, I'm saying, like, because there's always going to be old games that you can play in some, like, I mean, like,
okay.
You can still buy old games, you just can't buy new games.
And what point is the game no longer a new game? Like, are you saying, like,
from this day forward,
you're not going to buy, from this day forward, like, I'm only going to play games pre 2000, whatever they stopped playing, making physical games.
It's 2024, so we could just say pre-2024, halfway through the year.
Yeah.
If it came out before you know what? We'll give you August. Okay. We're late July here. We'll give you August. You can play anything pre-August 2024 for the rest of your life. I would argue that while you may have some FOMO, you would never run out of fan-freaking-tastic games. So I look forward to that being your future.
That's not going to be my future. I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to play new games. I'm not going to stop just because there's not physical, but I will be very disappointed.
Chicken.
But the thing is, like this comment from Tom Derry, hit us with this one because this is kind of my thought.
Tom Derry said, look, it's simple law of supply and demand. If there is demand, there will be supply. But I expect it will be very different from now.
And see, that's my thought. It's like, as long as there are people like us and plenty of other people out there who want physical games, they will be available in some way. Yeah.
Just like you can buy vinyls off the internet now.
Yes. And you can, but They became popular, and you could buy vinyls in Walmart. They're back.
Are they really?
Our local Walmart has a vinyl section.
That's wild.
So
Do they have CDs?
Maybe minimally, yeah. I'd say the vinyls are more.
Yeah.
You know, I still regularly buy vinyls because
He does.
I love to have if I really, really like something, I want to have some
You
physical.
want to be able to touch it.
I want to be able to save it and have it in a physical form forever, because your streaming services, they're not going to last forever.
No.
And the vinyl won't last forever, but it's going to last my lifetime if I take care of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it will.
And it won't be taken away from me just because they take down a service.
Correct. The thing that's different about vinyls is your record player does not have to hit the internet to confirm that it has the latest update for that Tyler Childers album, you know?
Well, yeah. Most ones that need the internet is probably not to get the newest update, although some of them are, but usually that's only if it's available, like it's still available to
Randy,
update.
did you just actually me? It was just an example, bro.
Okay, sorry. Just saying. Okay.
Actually.
Well, I think 10 years from now, I do think that people will still want physical games. I really do.
I do too. I just think there'll be so few of us that they really won't have a whole lot of presence.
No, I agree.
I mean, if you think about vinyls again, you know, vinyls did not. I about knocked my glasses off my face. Vinyls were not the primary way to listen to music 10 years ago.
No, but they were starting to come back.
They were the primary method long before that.
Yeah, like it's probably been since the 70s that
Yeah.
vinyls were the primary way of listening to music.
And it's been a lot longer. I was about to say, so yeah, I mean, 30 years from now, but we're
50 years away from that.
that's freaking wild. So, you know, and if you want to say that 10 years ago vinyls were starting to come back, you're saying maybe in roughly about 40 years, we might start to see a resurgence here. I mean, this is we're not painting a bright, positive picture for the physical game market.
Okay, let's read.
It has been so long since we are so old.
Yeah.
Sorry, heck.
Actually, even older. Okay, let's read another comment here. We got one from Dakuri. Sorry. Who says, they will stop. My country already stopped selling physical Xbox games in chain stores. It's just a matter of time. It will be the same for Sony and Nintendo.
And I included a reply here from Omega Falf, who said, I feel Nintendo will be the last console to use physical media. Sony will drop it the moment Microsoft does. I wanted to include both of them because I thought Omega Falf made a point that we might identify with here. Do you agree with that? You think Nintendo will be the last holdout?
Yeah, I do. I think Nintendo's stats are much more skewed towards having physical sales.
I
think their numbers.
Do we have their stats?
Yeah, they said their stats. And it definitely is over 50% digital, but it's not a whole lot, at least from my memory. And I could be misremembering. But as far as I know, they are maybe more like 60-40.
Okay.
And that's just a guess.
And why is that?
I think that Nintendo gamers and fans are more like conditioned to buy physical.
Yeah.
And I think also the fact that cartridges are much easier to carry around. They actually have the game on them. So I think the Switch has really helped that.
Yeah.
Because to me, when I have the cartridge of the game, it really feels like, because that's what you're playing it off of most of the time, it really feels like you have the game. Whereas the disc feels like more like it's just like the data's on there, but when you load it on your machine, so that's when it just feels different.
Yeah, it does. To me, it feels nostalgic. You know, it still reminds me of blowing in the N64 cartridge, you know, back in the day. Like, I did that the other day with a Game Boy game. It wouldn't play, and I blew in it, and it played. And
I don't think that actually works. I think just reinserting it is what helps. But
that's okay. You can feel that way.
Okay, I will feel that way. I will.
No, you're right. Okay. I know you're right, but I don't give a damn.
I'm still gonna blow in.
I'm gonna blow in it. Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me that I shouldn't huff the fumes from the Steam Deck.
No, you should do that.
I know I should because it feels good, and if it feels good, you should do it.
That's right. Huffing the Steam. The Steam Deck does huff too. It puts out some fumes.
My old one that you're borrowing, the LCD one, it huffs.
It does. Oh,
the OLED huffs a lot less.
Okay.
But I got to re-experience the new Steam Deck fumes after I got the OLED.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and they're not, you know, they've lost some luster, but they hit sometimes.
When you're playing a pretty intense game on Steam Deck, it will just it gets hot.
Yeah, it does.
It gets hot
does.
and it puts out some fumes.
I think you would be really impressed if you spent some time with the OLED because the fan is like night and day.
I'm sure. Yeah. I think the thing that I think would needs the most upgrade that I'm sure is better on the OLED is the touchscreen.
It is a lot better. It has like double the polling rate, so it's much more responsive.
Yeah, like just typing on
It's
like,
not good.
on the Steam Deck. You can go at a pretty slow speed, and often it will not pick up what you press just because it's. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's much better.
Yeah,
it ain't an iPad, but it's much better.
Yeah, that is like probably where it feels the cheapest. Is just like the touch screen, not the screen itself, but how it detects your touch feels very sluggish, and it often doesn't detect what you've done.
Yeah, I don't use it much, but and maybe that's because I got used to just not using it on the old one.
Yeah,
because it wasn't good. But yeah, it's better.
That's good. They needed to work on that.
All right, we got a little off topic there. I also agree with you, by the way. I think Nintendo will be the last holdout, and it makes me happy because I'm a Nintendo boy at heart. All right, we got a comment here from Morris Dennison, who said, "Yes, physical." I think I read the last one.
You did. Let me do it. Morris said, yes, physical video games will still be sold. It's the only way to protect ownership. I believe as games become more and more digital, companies like Limited Run will still exist, and there will probably be more of them. It's just a matter of Sony and Xbox. Sorry, Sony and Nintendo continuing to sell separate accessories to play physical games. Not even going to be talking about Xbox because they are the new Google Stadia, ripe to fail.
Morris, I loved this comment. I love the little subtle, sorry, Sony and Nintendo. That killed me. That little remark right there, I was like, this comment's going in. I don't give a damn what he says. And comparing Xbox to Stadia, I'm telling you what, going for the jugular.
Oh my gosh.
Bleed them dry. I mean, let the bodies hit the floor, am I right? Killing in the name.
It's pretty intense. I mean, like, Xbox does feel like they're on shaky ground in some ways.
Oh, yeah. Xbox is about up shit creek with no paddle.
Yeah,
it's starting to feel.
We've got stuff like the newest thing being they raised the price of Game Pass after saying that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They said the Activision thing wouldn't cause them to raise the game price. But the first time we get a big new Activision game, Call of Duty, one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game franchise, period.
Yeah.
It comes to Game Pass and they raise the prices. They made a tier where you don't have access to it. It's just like very clear that they lied about what they were going to do.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's not good.
And it's sad because Xbox is getting so much heat for this and they should, but they've done so many things that are pro-consumer, and the whole narrative the whole time has been like, thanks Xbox, but y'all are still really effing up. Like that's been the narrative the whole generation. And now they finally do something to try to make a little more money, and everybody just crapping on them.
Yeah.
But it's really it's real bad.
Well, if they hadn't said, look, this will not raise the price of Game Pass, we will not make it so. Game Pass's whole thing has been that you get games day one, and now there's a big portion of people who won't get games day one.
It's ridiculous. And the head of Xbox has a long history of lying. We all know that.
You talking about Phil?
No, the head of it. I'm talking about Tim.
Oh.
So Tim has a history of you see that mountain, you can go to that mountain, and you can, I guess, right? You see that moon, you can go to that moon. What he meant was you can fast travel to that moon, and you can see a hell of a loading screen while you do it. And now, I know Phil's the on paper. I know he's the on paper head, but like we all know. And here he goes again. Tim saying we're not going to raise the price. You're going to get your day one releases, and here we are.
Okay.
Screw you, Tim.
I hope that you guys are able to work out who Tim is. I love the Tim joke. Okay.
It's not a joke.
I love that he's the secret head of Xbox. He's running the show.
I was trying so hard to deliver that just real dry, and you were laughing, and I had to pause. And
I can't help it, man. I can't help it.
Who was it? Was it Tom recently who who told us he really appreciates
No,
our dry delivery?
it was Luke.
It was Luke. That's right.
It was Luke. Yeah.
So I'm leaning in.
Okay. But yeah.
Or my cats are raising hell in the hallway.
Speaking of Xbox, though, it is interesting that we've seen, especially I think it's like in the UK, Xbox games aren't being sold in stores.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And that's simply because they ran out.
Well, I mean, I think that they've run the numbers and they decide like Xbox people, because Game Pass is such a thing, I'm sure that a majority, if not a vast majority, of people who have an Xbox
Yeah.
probably also have Game Pass.
Probably.
So they've been conditioned to not buy games.
Yeah.
Period.
They have.
So like they don't buy physical games because they just can play them without having to even pay for the game period. They just pay for the subscription. So it's tough. It's a tough one.
I recently sent a text to our friend Tatum, and we were talking about games because he's a huge Switch fan, and he said, you know, I know that I'm going to have to buy a little bit weightier of a console for GTA 6. And I said, yes, you are. And then I said, I would urge you strongly to get a PS5 because he's an Xbox guy historically. And I was like, you don't need to do that. And I told him all the reasons. I sent him a long text. So, and it hurt my heart to do it, but Tim is pissing me off. I mean, God.
I still don't think that
Fallout London be damned, Tim is pissing me off.
it's nothing to do with Fallout London. Oh, goodness me. Okay. I think that
You really don't think he was pulling strings on Fallout London?
he's pulling the strings everywhere, isn't he?
You really don't think?
He's just a string puller.
He's always been a string puller, Randy. You probably got a drawstring in your foot right now that he's just waiting to pull.
I don't even know what that means. I legit have no clue.
It's like Woody, you got a snake in my boot. You're like a drawstring toy in this.
I'm like Pinocchio.
Really need to get. You've been gone. Randy's been gone on vacation, and I think he's forgot how to ride my train of thought. Ride my train, bro.
Ride my train, man.
Okay. Anyway, guys, we're about to move on to our next topic, but before we do, I want to tell you about our Twitch channel. Okay, we stream on Twitch an awful lot. We do it on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and occasionally it changes. A little bit of Friday and Saturday action occasionally. But we play a lot of Sea of Thieves. We do a lot of chatting. We just have a good time over there. I think we're going to play some Deep Rock Galactic soon. I think we're going to play some Kirby and the Amazing Mirror soon. Kirby and the Thousand Year Door. I've been playing a little Paper Mario. That's why it's on the brain. I haven't been playing that one, but anyway, come hang out.
Goodness me.
That was a smooth pitch.
That was great. I think that everyone who listens to that is going to come watch us play games on Twitch now.
You should. We're a lot of fun.
Okay.
Go on, Grandpa.
So there is a strike that is going on in the video game industry. It is the video game actors are going on strike. This is very kind of similar to I guess it's a Screen Actors Guild sort of thing.
Yes.
It's kind of reminiscent of the, what is this? A strike that happened in just
in the film industry.
In the film industry, yeah.
Well, there's been writer strikes, that we've heard about and things like that over the years. Back in 1994, I believe it was, the MLB players went on strike. Oh. Braves were going to win the World Series that year. Anyway, yeah, it's an actor strike, exactly, and apparently it's over a lack of AI protection, like in the contracts or in the fine print for some of these companies.
Right. The threat of AI, and they're not doing anything to try to make sure that these video game actors are going to be safe from having their jobs replaced or being used, like their image and their likenesses and their voices being used in AI so that they don't have to pay the actor.
Right. Which is very reasonable. To my little small redneck brain, this makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That they would want this to be in writing.
I think so. I think it makes total sense to me. Now, I don't know if the situation is more complicated than what it seems, but on the surface, I think that AI is definitely a very, let me think of the way to put it. It is just the whole use of AI is kind of gray and a little bit morally ambiguous, period, when it comes to creative works, because it's trained on other data, but also it can be trained on these actors without their consent, potentially. And that's a big problem.
Right. We saw it with Randy Travis, who's near and dear to our hearts. And if he's not near and dear to yours, get on the internet and listen to Randy Travis. But there's an AI song, from Randy Travis. They ran it through a Randy Travis algorithm. Now, he okayed it.
Yeah, he gave it his consent.
He gave it his blessing. But what's to say somebody couldn't do it without it?
Right, because if they own the rights to a character that you played.
And you're a voice actor.
Right.
It's not like you're always using the same voice.
Right.
What's going to stop somebody from running a Troy Baker algorithm and generating a Joel-esque sound? And then how do you prove that that's what you did or that's what your intentions were? Like, how do you prove it? It's really murky. But there's a lot of companies that apparently this union has been in negotiations with for years now, since like October 2022.
Yeah, probably since the first big AI wave came around.
Probably. And these include Activision, Blind Light, Disney character voices, EA, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac, Epic, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks, and WB Games. Those are some big names.
Some big names. Some
big
really
old names. Big old honking names.
Interestingly, Nintendo is not here in any way.
Huh.
Nintendo has actually said that they just straight up will not use AI at this point. They've said that they don't feel comfortable with it because they're not really sure of how it works morally, so they've decided just to not do it, period.
I have mixed feelings about that. On one hand, I think it's like, hell yeah, Nintendo, make games the old-fashioned way, because I'm an old man now and I'm a little bit of a video game curmudgeon. And on the other hand, I'm like, there's probably some morally sound ways that you utilize this new technology, that because production times are long nowadays, And if there's some ways you could speed that up that don't out anybody a job or do anything a little shady, then I'm okay with that.
I still think that no matter what, until we work out what is and isn't okay, it's like we're still in the early phases, And until we work out what's okay, it's kind of like you can't really use it until it's been established. So this is okay and this isn't.
Yeah.
And
but
so
who
I
makes that call?
I don't know.
Tim?
Tim. It's got to be Tim.
I don't think he's capable.
No.
Yeah. So this is obviously a crazy thing. It will probably, in my opinion, affect production times of some games.
We don't know how long this is going to last.
We don't know how long it's going to last. And that's crazy. We saw this similar kind of thing in the pandemic when people just couldn't get together and work and production times were slowed down. And eventually we got a crazy influx of these games that maybe would have come a little sooner. That maybe why 2023 was so amazing, some people might say. Is this going to have a similar effect? Because I don't really want it to. I'd rather get games all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. But my thought is I wonder, should companies just pull a Nintendo and just swear off AI for a little bit and just say for the time being, we will not utilize AI. I think that personally, I would like to see that because I think that.
Because you're a grandpa.
Well, I think that AI, in the way that I've seen it so far, there may be some use cases like you mentioned where they can do it in a way that is maybe completely morally not ambiguous.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a really clean way to speed up the process and no one is against it. But from what I've seen in terms of how it's being implemented, it can be implemented in ways maybe to create character models or maybe even to create animations. There are lots of different things they can do, but they could also write stories. They can also use AI to create voice acting. There's so many things they can do. And to me, every way I can think of it, I think, well, it's trained on something.
Yeah.
And it's trained on someone's work. And until we're able to really suss out what is and isn't theft from AI, I don't know that you should use it. On top of that, are you ever going to be able to create something that is truly of a unified voice and an artistic sort of a piece of art, just in general, if it is utilizing AI in any meaningful way? Maybe, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah. My principal at school recently spoke about AI, and I actually agreed with him. I don't always agree with him, but I agreed with him here.
Okay.
He basically said that he feels like AI is at a similar place to where the internet was back in the early 90s, right? When the internet came out, I'm sure there were a bunch of people who had been doing things the same way for a really long time, who were against it and were probably trying to keep it out of schools, among other things. You know, I know this is a gaming podcast, but anyway, they're trying to keep it out of schools, right? Here we are. Where would we freaking be without the internet? Not here.
No, yeah,
right? So he kind of feels like we need to embrace it and learn how to use it, and that it should be allowed. And I agree, because like I do think it's gonna end up historically being a big technological development. I don't think anything will ever be as big as the internet.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be big, and so I wonder if we're like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if it would be better to stop until we make a call, kind of like what you're saying, or if we just need to find the right way to do it. I don't know. It's definitely a hell of a tool, and production times are crazy. I was just talking about this last night with our friend Frankie about House of the Dragon, because it took 2 years between seasons. Like, that's a long damn time.
That's a long time.
Apparently, they want to have 5 seasons of that show.
It's going to take over
We're going
a
to watch
decade,
that. Yeah, we're going to watch that thing for like 10 or 12 years. Like, WT hell, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate, but it's a really complex issue.
It is complex, but I think that the crux of it is we have to talk about who these models are trained after.
Yeah.
And these people who have spent their life dedicated to learning a creative craft. And if their stuff is being trained upon by these AIs and they aren't giving their consent, that to me feels icky. And I feel like, like say you were in a situation where there's a new gaming podcast comes out and they have trained on me and you. Now, I don't know why you do that, but let's say they did, and there all of a sudden is an AI podcast that's based on me and you.
Yeah.
And let's say it's doing just as well, if not better than we are somehow.
Well, I will say, like, I think there's a lot of reasons why somebody would do something like that. And I think after we, fought them in a Walmart parking lot, we'd be flattered. I do. But no, I agree with you. This whole strike, I totally understand, I think. And I agree with the sentiment. And I agree. The way you just described it, yeah, that's not a morally sound way to use it. I wasn't playing the devil's advocate for that.
I want to be clear about that.
So, my question really is how many video game industry strikes has there been?
I don't know. It seems like
because they
it's
say
been quite a while.
They say 3 strikes and you're out. So
That is what they say.
And I've been waiting this whole topic to work that joke in. So I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did that. I think that is a good way to end this topic, and we can move on to the next one.
Which is a little bit of a transitionary topic.
Yeah, it is, because one of the things that has come out of this is that GTA 6 is not affected by this strike. The workers can continue to work on GTA 6.
Right. GTA 6 has immunity. Nobody knows how. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows who. And nobody knows when. I
really don't know. I read all kinds of articles saying that the workers can continue. I never read why.
I didn't either. So
sometimes we're lacking context.
Well, not today, because we're going to make it up as we go.
But that means we get to talk about GTA 6.
But before we do.
But first, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of our... I'm just kidding. We don't have sponsors. We're just going to talk about our Discord server, because we would love for you to join and be a part of our Discord. There's an invite link in the description of wherever you listen to this podcast. It's just a cool place to hang out and talk video games with some like-minded gamers. It's also a good place to go and find out, because there's a channel there that'll tell you when we go live on Twitch, when some of our friends go live on Twitch, or whenever we put out polls. That's there too.
That's right. So, Randy, have you heard about Grand Theft Auto 6 Florida Man Simulator?
I've heard about GTA 6. I didn't know it was subtitled Florida Man Simulator.
That came out when you were on vacation.
Okay.
So I've been meaning to kind of catch you up. But yeah, so have you heard about it? Are you excited about it?
I was reminded.
Have you ever played another Florida Man Simulator?
Never played another Florida Man Simulator, at least in my brain I haven't. Maybe I haven't. I just forgot about it. But I was reading an article about GTA 6. You just randomly slurping? Okay.
I just was messing with you.
Okay. So I was reading an article about GTA 6. I had forgotten that the reveal trailer got 90 million views in one day.
Didn't it like break the record or something, or come real close?
It probably did. It probably
Yeah.
broke YouTube records,
Yeah.
which is just wild.
Yeah,
And that
dude.
was after it even got leaked. Because
Yeah,
remember it got
because
leaked.
they released it,
They released it because, oh gosh, it got leaked, so they just released it. They were like, whatever.
which was a great move. Everybody should take lessons from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a crazy time, and we were all really excited to see it. And you know, to stay on topic, I'm really glad that hopefully it won't be delayed. You know,
Yeah, I hope so.
at least not because of a strike.
No, it won't be delayed because of a strike. But interesting here, you know, there was an interview that came out recently that was from an ex Rockstar developer, and he was saying that GTA 6 is not going to be that far off from GTA 5 in terms of like what we're going to get. Like, it's not going to be completely different. It's going to be more or less in line with GTA 5. And he's saying that could disappoint some people.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know how I feel about that for the most part. Do you want to know?
I
You
would
want to know
love
right now? GTA 5 was a masterpiece and fine. Like, that's fun. I don't want them to radically change it, if I'm being honest. There are some improvements that need to be made, and we're going to talk about some of those. But as a whole, to say GTA 6 is going to be similar to GTA 5 is not a bad thing in my eyes.
Right. I think the thing here is that there's so much hype that's been built up
Yeah.
over GTA 6 that no matter what, it's going to let some people down.
It can't live up to it.
No.
There's no way. Just like Metroid Prime 4. It ain't going to happen. It can't be done.
No.
And GTA has a lot more hype than Metroid.
Because there's so many people who've been waiting so long. We've waited, 2.5 generations of consoles. Or not really. I guess it's it's spanned 3 generations, but I don't know what the math is. We've gone over an entire generation of consoles before we got this new one. So it's just been so long. What has it been? How many years has it been since GTA 5 came out?
I think 11 or 12.
I feel like it came out in 2013, 14, something like that.
2013.
So it's been 11 years, yeah.
Yeah. So we have been waiting longer for another Metroid Prime game. I just looked that up. That 3 came out in 2007.
Yeah, but
So.
you're talking about a tiny fraction of people who played
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 3
I
versus
know.
who played GTA 5.
I know. I just wanted to see how they stacked up, but you can't match a Grand Theft Auto Hot Machine. It can't be done, and neither can they. And I see the point of some people will be disappointed because of that.
Yeah. So, but we put out a poll asking, do you expect GTA 6 to be as good as GTA 5?
Yes. So 77% of you said yes. 23% of you said no. And I'm telling you, the comments did not reflect this.
Well, I think that the comments often about something like as big as GTA, people are going to come out and they're going to try to just flare up emotions. They're just going to try to comment things
Trying
that
to cause a flare up?
cause a little bit of a rashy flare up.
Oh, Lord. Y'all don't do that to me. Well, we got some comments here. We got one from The Better Crustacean who said no, because it's going to be so much better.
I mean, the trailer looks fantastic. We didn't get to see
Phenomenal.
We didn't get to see a whole lot, if any, gameplay in the one
I
trailer.
don't think we saw any game.
But it looks good. It looks high quality in terms of what we've seen.
Very.
But I mean,
And I'll tell you,
trailers are trailers.
they are, and I'm very I love the Bonnie and Clyde thing. You know, like I think that's a great classic premise. And I'm really excited to play it in like a more modern Miami-esque setting. I think that's freaking cool.
Vice City, from what I understand.
Vice City, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Vice City's Miami-esque.
All right. I don't know. I mean, I think it has potential to be better than GTA 5. I love GTA 5. I think most people who played it like it. But
Yes.
there are some people who don't, and we'll get to that in a minute. Let's actually go ahead and read our next comment here.
Hit us.
This one's from Delazy, who said, considering what's happened to the world over these past 10 plus years, of course, LOL.
Yeah. And so I don't know exactly what DeLazy is referring to specifically, because a lot of things happen in the course of a decade. And at this point, I am embarrassed to ask.
Yeah, there's been a lot happen. I wonder if this is getting at the fact that GTA has always pushed buttons in terms of like social things.
Like its lack of politically correctness.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always been very unpolitically correct. It's quite edgy. And I wonder if that's what this is in reference to, because saying that like now the world is
Less tolerant of that sort of thing.
of that sort of thing. So it's going to be for those who are like looking for the opposite of that.
Yeah.
They may really like it. And then it's probably going to cause tons of controversy if they continue with the same level of that unpolitically correct.
You know, I hadn't thought about that, but it being so long since Grand Theft Auto came out, the world is very different.
It is different.
I had not thought about that. That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to land on that.
DeLazy, you're going to have to let us know
Yeah.
what you are specifically referring to. But that's my guess.
I think you're probably right. I think you nailed it.
There's potential.
Randy, you got your reading glasses on?
Oh, yeah. Let me do it real quick. This is a big one from Larry House, who always has some interesting stuff to say. Larry says, I'm counting on a good game, no doubt. But a lot has changed. Everyone who experienced the last GTA titles have grown up a lot since number 5, and I see a lot of the dated game mechanics present in Red Dead Redemption 2. Let's not joke around about it. That game is a slow grind right from the start where every mission feels like a side quest / fetch quest. Honestly, for me, it's going to take a serious evolution of the game formula to really blow me away. God of War 3 to God of War 2018 is the gap I need to see in my experience from GTA 5 to GTA 6. Those God of Wars were 8 years apart. How far has Rockstar come with GTA 6 given 12 years? I'm actually not confident at all that Rockstar will deliver. Perhaps they've grown too focused on their online service.
Yeah, I thought this was really interesting because if I could name one thing that I want to change about GTA 5, it's the way it plays. Specifically, tapping X to run. Some of those game mechanics, like you're talking about in RDR2, they are dated.
Yeah, RDR2 is a slow-paced game, especially at first.
Yeah, it is. That tutorial is so long.
It's very long.
And I love RDR2.
Me too.
Absolutely love it. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. And I agree. Some of those things, really, they don't need to be in GTA 6.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how far they're going to go to focus on story, because I think that's probably, if we look at Red Dead Redemption 2 as an example, Red Dead Redemption 2 focused so much on the story over the gameplay that obviously it was one of the best stories told in video games, period, but that is not everyone's cup of tea. And in some ways, I get it. Like, in some ways, I like the original Red Dead better because it had much more focus on gameplay and having fun, engaging gameplay. The story wasn't as good as Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's all a balance. And if they go too far towards story and they don't evolve any of the gameplay mechanics,
you get Hellblade.
You do get Hellblade. You do get Hellblade. Yeah, exactly. Which, for Hellblade, I like that experience.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because I know what I'm getting with Hellblade.
Yeah.
But with GTA, I don't know that many people would be satisfied with that.
Yeah, no, I would not be. Now, I felt like the gameplay in RDR2 was still fun, and there were still a million things to do. Like, just it existing in that world is fun. Like, you don't even necessarily have to be doing a whole lot, and that's an accomplishment. But Hellblade is a game that went so far in that direction that I don't know that I can overall say I really liked it. So that would really disappoint me if that happened in GTA 6. I don't think they'll go that far.
I don't think they will either, but I do suspect that it's going to be more story focused than GTA 5. And GTA 5 was fairly story focused, but the story was so bananas and like off the wall that it was really hard for it to be like really dialed in on this is a story game. You know what I mean?
But I think they need to be a little off the wall. I mean, I don't want my GTA to be entirely grounded. You know, I want it to be a little wild, but maybe it should be grounded. Maybe it should just be like a modern day crime story, and I don't know.
I'm interested to see. We're going to have to wait and see, but I am really interested to see. I hope that they do even if they can just do something as simple as removing the tap X to run, but
Mm-hmm.
we've never played a Rockstar game that didn't do that. So
That's a bad mechanic, Rockstar. You shouldn't do that. I really like the part about God of War 3 to God of War 2018 as well, because that was such a reinvention, and I don't see that happening in GTA 6. I do agree with him there.
no, I don't know if GTA 6 is going to go that far. God of War 2018, what did they do? They focused on story. They changed the battle mechanics to be a little more
A little more weighty, a little more deliberate,
exactly.
a little less hack and slashy. You know, it was still there, but not to the extent that it was in the original games.
The good thing is that the battle mechanics in God of War 2018 were so much fun
Yes.
that it didn't matter that it wasn't the same. It was
They're
still
so good.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
One of the best. One of the best battle mechanics of any game, period.
Yeah. It's got some excellent combat.
Okay. Let's see here. We have another comment. This one's for you, Daniel.
All right, this is from Bananurism.
Bananurism. Yeah.
Who said, I mean, it's got to last at least 2 to 3 more console generations, so why wouldn't it be? And you're right.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be a hell of a banger of a game, because it's got to last till the PS8 at least.
I just think about every game that has had
7 at least.
this sort of a level of hype,
Yeah.
and they always let people down.
Always?
I mean, like, when's the last time you had a game that had built up this much hype that didn't come out and just let people down?
Like global hype, not just personal hype?
Yeah, like global hype. Like, I think of games like Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I think of games like Starfield.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are games that like had so much hype, even just general hype, you know, not even outside of just the core gamers, like more casual gamers were super excited about those games.
They were.
And they both let people down. Now, I'm not saying Rockstar couldn't do it, because I'm sure GTA 5, well, I do remember, GTA 5 had a ton of hype.
Ton of hype. We were freaking hyped for that game. And it delivered, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
no, I've never seen a game deliver on the kind of monumental, lead up that we're talking about.
Maybe GTA 5 is the example of a game that did, though. So maybe GTA 6 will do it.
I would love that. That would make me really happy. All right, Randy, we got one more comment here.
Yes. Oh, this one's for me to read, isn't it?
Yes, for you to read.
This one's from STN Rodriguez, who says, GTA 5 was garbage.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I know that some people didn't like it.
Yeah, I also think its reputation got a little sullied by the fact that eventually they just focused on nothing but GTA Online.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of influencing this comment. But the base game itself, I don't agree, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love the Grand Theft Auto games. I've played them all. I should say I've played all the 3D ones, at least in some way. The only one I really haven't put a whole lot of time into is San Andreas, which I hope to remedy. But overall, I love those games, and they very much have a clear, like, evolution, you know?
They've definitely
like,
do.
GTA 3 and GTA 5, yeah, they have their differences, and there's a whole, host of games in between.
Yeah.
But they're not that different. They have more in common than they do different.
Absolutely.
And so I don't see how you could say GTA 5 was garbage if you like the other GTA games. I think you would like GTA 5.
I think there's a super clear lineage there, Once you hit 3D, okay, GTA 3 is 3D, GTA 4 is 3D with motorcycles. GTA 5, GTA Vice City
was
motorcycles.
Yeah.
Then you got GTA 4, which just like new
Was there not
generation.
motorcycles in GTA 3?
No.
Okay.
There was not. Anyway.
Then you get San Andreas.
Then you get San Andreas, which is like a little more graphics, huge world. Then I guess you got GTA 4. I guess I tried to skip San Andreas. And I think that was for a new generation, because I remember
that was on
crazy.
Xbox 360, PS3.
And San Andreas was prior.
PS2.
Yeah.
PS2
and then GTA
and
5
Xbox.
is like even better. New, 3 playable characters. Like, what are they going to do in GTA 6? Mopeds?
We've had mopeds already, but
I guess there are mopeds, aren't there?
there are mopeds. I know there are mopeds in Vice City.
What
sure.
vehicles do they not have?
We've had everything. We've had planes, we've had boats, we've had cars, we'd have motorcycles.
Copters, tanks.
Does San Andreas have scooters? I know it has bikes. I know they're
Like a Razor scooter?
like a Razor scooter. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Give me a Razor scooter.
Okay.
Rollerblades. Rollerblades.
Nobody rollerblades.
I could rollerblade in GTA. Give me a pair of rollerblades.
I'm embarrassed for you.
What if they do Heelys?
Dude, that would be freaking awesome. Can you imagine, like, just yeeting it off a mountain with some Heelys in a Grand Theft Auto game? Popping out that parachute?
I think Heelys would be the move. I think if they're looking for a new mode of travel, just give you wheels on your feet at all times.
Mm-hmm. And don't make me tap X to use them.
Oh, you'd have to tap X. That's the trade-off. Normally, they're going to make it so that you don't have to tap X anymore. But if you put on the Heelys, you got to tap X.
I'm willing to make that compromise. I'll tap X. We'll tap X for Heelys. I should put that on a shirt.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh, man.
overall, last thoughts. I suspect the GTA 6 will be very good. It's going to have a hard time living up to the hype just because there's so much hype. You can never live up to it. It doesn't matter how good the game is.
Yep. I agreed.
It's kind of like Tears of the Kingdom, you know, like some people were disappointed with how similar Tears of the Kingdom was to Breath of the Wild. Fantastic game, but it let some people down. I think we're going to see that with GTA 6 from GTA 5.
And, you know, Tears of the Kingdom is getting, I have noticed a little bit more of a negative sentiment towards that game lately.
Really?
For those reasons.
Yeah.
I've seen it popping up in the thumbnails. You know, like, I don't like it. I love the game.
Oh, I love the game too.
I don't like that sentiment. But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, before we wrap this puppy up, I just want to remind you that we record a bonus episode right after we wrap on the regular episode, but it's exclusive for members only. So if you want access to that, join up. Today we're talking about fighting games and Mega Man.
Yep. And thank you so much if you decide that you do want to be a member and hit that join button. All right. But one thing we do at the end of our episodes is we do this thing called the 3 for Dale Club. All right. Daniel, tell them how people can join the 3 for Dale Club.
All right. So the 3 for Dale Club is an exclusive organization. And the way we know that you're a member is you leave a comment on the YouTube version of this podcast and say whatever the hell you want to say. But make sure you include the phrase 3 for Dale.
Yep. That's our secret code phrase. It lets us know that you made it to the end and we shout you out. Actually, what we do is we feature you in this thing right here. Here's this week's 3 for Dale Club. Thank you, guys. I love it. And another thing we like to do is we want to shout out specifically our YouTube members and thank them for supporting us. Daniel, start us off here.
Heck, Vetica, thank you so much.
We also got Landon Stallings, Dale himself.
That's right. Gah, thank you.
And finally, Kitaclysm. So,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being members and supporting the podcast, y'all. All right. Well, on to the bonus video. So until next time, guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
And this has been Gaming Gig.
Peace out.